If this reached you at a moment when you were questioning everything, that is not an accident. Something heard your silent doubt and answered before you could give up. If you have come across this message, understand one thing clearly and without hesitation. This is not the algorithm working in your favor, and it is not random chance. This moment is not accidental. It is the universe responding to a quiet question your soul asked when no one was listening. Somewhere deep inside you, in that hidden place where doubt began to grow, there was something you needed to hear today. Right now, before uncertainty hardens into acceptance, before hope turns into silence, this message arrives. I know you have stayed quiet. I know you have continued your life as if everything has already ended. You told yourself that you moved on, that you turned the page, that you accepted what happened. You tried to convince your mind that this chapter was closed, yet inside you, something never truly settled. There is still a question that lingers, an unanswered feeling that quietly steals your peace. It appears when you are alone. It surfaces when the world slows down. And this question about where this connection is going cannot be answered by logic alone. It can only be answered by a larger plan, one that works beyond human timing. That answer reaches you now with a clarity that can no longer be ignored. Release the idea that you are exaggerating your feelings. Let go of the thought that you are imagining this depth. You are not creating this intensity in your mind. You do not love without reason, and you are not loving by yourself. The connection that ties you to this person is real. It is not something born from surface attraction or temporary emotion. It comes from the soul. It is not a passing desire. It carries meaning that runs deeper than circumstances. The most important message you need to hold on to today is simple but powerful. Do not give up. You are standing at the edge of something that has been quietly forming for a long time, something prepared for both of you long before you understood it. You have no idea how much energy is moving behind the scenes in your favor. So much is happening where you cannot see it. That feeling you have, the sense that something is shifting, is not false. It is not wishful thinking. The fact that this story refuses to leave you, that their name keeps returning to your mind, that your heart circles back to the same place again and again, is not weakness. It is not attachment. It is not obsession. It is a sign. It is a signal that cannot be forced or created. It belongs to a purpose that distance, silence, and time cannot erase. The first step you must take now is internal. Stop seeing distance as failure. Stop interpreting separation as the end. Physical distance is an illusion when it comes to soul connection. Energetically, the bond between you is stronger than ever. Your soul remains in contact with theirs even when words are absent. You are connected by something invisible but powerful. The emptiness you feel at times is not one-sided. It mirrors the absence they feel too. That absence is not punishment. It is a tool destiny uses to awaken awareness. This person carries your name deep inside them. Even if they turn away, even if they hide behind fear or pride, the universe sees beyond what people try to hide. Nothing genuine escapes its awareness. So do not abandon something that entered your life with such meaning. This love is not random. It does not come from impulse. It comes from a place that is spiritual, intentional, and guided by something higher than circumstance. Soon, you will notice a clear sign, something visible that confirms their soul is calling to yours right now. But before you can fully understand that sign, you must recognize what is happening beyond the physical world. The continuation of this story does not depend on what you do outwardly. It depends on what you know inwardly. Stay grounded, not in anxious waiting, but in calm certainty. What is meant for you cannot leave you. What destiny has joined cannot be broken. Trust your intuition. That quiet inner voice telling you the love still exists is not misleading you. It is speaking the truth you need in this moment. Understand that there is someone who genuinely loves you, someone who thinks of you far more often than they ever allow themselves to admit. This is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a deeper awareness. If you are ready to accept this truth into your life, let your heart stay open. And now that you recognize the authenticity of what you feel, it becomes important to move beyond doubt and into understanding. There is an invisible reality surrounding you that you are only beginning to perceive. Despite the silence, despite the space between you, you are not walking alone. The intensity you feel is not deception. It is a truth placed inside you for a reason. If the universe brought you together, crossed your paths, and planted this certainty within you, it is because the purpose goes beyond logic. Perhaps you have felt that you give more than you receive. Perhaps you believe you are holding on to something that seems to be fading. That perception is misleading. You are being guided. The universe does not place a love of this depth into a heart only to abandon it without direction. When your heart keeps returning to the same person, it is not because your mind is confused. It is because a bond exists that does not come from impulse or fantasy. It comes directly from the soul. This feeling is real, and it cannot be destroyed by silence or distance. Ask yourself why this story still lives inside you, why their name does not fade, why the connection refuses to break. The answer is simple. It is alive, more alive than you realize. What belongs to you energetically does not disappear. What destiny unites cannot be undone by misunderstandings, pauses, or fear. The feeling inside you that resists forgetting is not weakness, it is confirmation. Your soul recognizes what is true even when your eyes cannot. There is a deep and almost impossible gap between what your eyes observe and what your soul knows. Your eyes see surface behavior, distance, coldness, silence, indifference. But the universe reminds you not to be fooled by appearances. Inside this person exist feelings that carry your presence. Love of this kind does not always express itself clearly. Sometimes it hides, sometimes it blocks itself, sometimes it protects itself out of fear of losing control. This person thinks of you more than they would ever confess. They feel your absence, they sense your energy, they notice your silence. When your name is mentioned, something shifts inside them. When they remember a shared moment, when they see a photo they cannot bring themselves to delete, they feel an emptiness they cannot explain. Even if you believe they moved on, they have not. Even if you think they forgot, they have not. Some emotions return again and again. Some memories ache without warning. There are moments during the day when they stop, even briefly, just to think of you. The universe has witnessed all of this. Nothing goes unnoticed. You may wonder how to know if this connection is still active. How can something invisible affect you so strongly? The first clear sign is emotional telepathy. This person is not absent because they lack love. They are absent because they do not know how to handle the intensity of what they feel. Some souls love so deeply that fear causes them to pause or retreat. While you wonder why everything seems frozen, the truth is that nothing has stopped. Their emotions are moving strongly, just privately. Beneath the surface, where you cannot see, destiny continues to work. This internal movement affects you directly and shows itself through feelings you might label as stress or coincidence. When this person thinks of you deeply, their energy travels through the bond you share and reaches you. It may appear as sudden sadness, unexplained heaviness, or quiet melancholy with no clear reason. That feeling is not yours alone. It is their longing reaching you. You think it is your pain, but it carries their emotion. Another sign appears as sudden memories. At unexpected moments, their image comes into your mind with sharp clarity. This is not random. It is the universe confirming what your intuition already knows. The connection remains unbroken. In their heart, you are closer than you believe. You may also feel this connection physically, a sudden warmth in your chest or face, a gentle burning sensation. These moments often happen when they think of you with affection. When fear overwhelms them and they pull inward, you may feel cold, hollow, or briefly drained. Your energy responds to theirs. Music can also become a bridge. A song you shared appears unexpectedly. A melody reminds you of them without effort. This is not coincidence. Sound becomes a reminder that the bond is alive. When your name stirs something inside them, that vibration reaches you and resonates quietly within. And all of this serves one purpose: to remind you that what you feel is real, that what connects you is still active, and that what is meant for you cannot disappear. There are nights when they think of you before they fall asleep, and days when a sudden memory of you tightens their chest without warning. Even when they choose silence to appear strong, the universe still sees the truth they cannot bring themselves to say. So, if your intuition has been stronger than ever lately, if you feel that something is shifting on a spiritual level, even on days when you promised yourself you would finally let go, then listen carefully to that feeling. It is not a sign of dependence or obsession. It is a sign of clarity. The universe speaks in quiet ways, through small signs, showing you that this love is still alive. It shows you that invisible threads continue to connect your hearts, and that thoughts can travel without words ever being spoken. The love this person feels for you cannot simply be switched off. It is a love that fights against itself, a love that tries to understand what feels impossible to explain, a love that attempts to resist what cannot truly be resisted. Your presence has left a mark on their soul, so deep that they cannot even fully admit it to themselves. And that is exactly why you must not give up now. By this point, you have already recognized that what you feel is not an illusion, but a certainty confirmed by the energy that continues to move between you. Still, a question naturally arises. Why is this bond so strong that neither time nor distance has been able to erase it? Why does it remain when logic says it should fade? The answer exists within the plan of destiny, what on a spiritual level is known as a soul agreement. You must understand that this connection is not an accident. It was never a random meeting or a temporary attraction meant to disappear at the first challenge. This connection exists because of a greater plan, a soul pact formed on a higher level long before you met in this physical world. It is an agreement for growth, awakening, and shared purpose. When two souls are tied by destiny, the energy does not allow a final separation until the lesson of that meeting is completed. That is why every attempt, from both sides, to let go or forget has failed. This is not weakness. It is proof. What is purely human can break. What is destined resists. The universe would never allow something essential to your spiritual growth to be lost simply because fear appeared. The love you feel is not something distance can destroy. It does not come from a conscious decision, but from a higher one. The reason their name still lives within you despite every effort to release it is because your soul honors this agreement. It is like an energetic anchor holding you to the truth of this connection. When the bond remains, when the memory continues to vibrate within you, it is because the universe is constantly confirming its authenticity. This is how destiny reminds you to stay centered, to trust that this process belongs to a higher order, not to impatience or fear. Within the plan of destiny, there is no chaos, only necessary pauses. The universe would never place you in pain without meaning. If there is silence now, it is not an ending. It is an energetic phase of reorganization. Destiny is working within the other person so they may return stronger, more whole, and more aware. The universe does not want you to receive someone who is only half ready, nor does it want you to remain trapped in anxiety and restlessness. That is why the bond does not break. It stretches, it relaxes, but its core remains intact, ensuring that you will meet again at the right moment. What feels to you like an endless wait is, in truth, the exact time the other person needs to heal their inner layers and fulfill this soul contract with maturity. The silence that hurts you is not indifference, it is quite the opposite. On an energetic level, it is overload. To understand why this person has pulled away, you must look at what is happening inside them. They are experiencing an emotional intensity they do not yet know how to handle. You, through your sensitivity and awareness, can sense the depth of this bond. They have not reached that stage yet. The strength of this love, the certainty that you are the one they have been searching for, has created an inner shock within them. Their silence is a response to fear, not lack of feeling. Like a wounded animal that retreats to survive, they have withdrawn to protect themselves, to understand what they are feeling, to guard against something that feels too powerful to control. This pause is their attempt to bring logic to something that cannot be reasoned away. They believe that distance and silence will reduce the intensity and give them control again. But the universe shows you that this belief is mistaken. Silence is not absence of love. It is the sound of fear. They are not afraid of you. They are afraid of the depth of their own emotions. They fear that surrendering fully would make the pain of loss unbearable. So they retreat before the connection grows even stronger. Inside them, a conflict is taking place between the ego that says, "Protect yourself, stay distant, do not trust this," and the soul that calls your name and longs for your presence. Silence is the battlefield where this struggle unfolds. Yet the universe is not still. Within this silence, powerful movement is taking shape. Destiny creates situations that remind them again and again of what they have pushed away. The absence of your energy feels like an emptiness nothing else can fill. Every attempt to replace it with distraction or other connections only makes the truth clearer. So, when you feel tempted to see their silence as rejection, pause. Silence is proof of inner struggle. It is the sign of a heart being guided to heal old wounds before it can meet you in the way you deserve. Their distance is not lovelessness. It is armor built over years, now slowly dissolving. Your love acts as a mirror of their own light. And for someone who has known pain and betrayal, that clarity can be terrifying. The fear they face does not come from the future, but from the past. Destiny leads them through a deep inner transformation, forcing them to confront unresolved wounds. This darkness is not punishment, it is purification. When they return, it will not be from need, but from wholeness. And while destiny works on them, it is also working on you. You are learning calm, trust, and balance. You are both being shaped for reunion that comes from strength, not lack. The universe has already shown you that reunion exists in the plan. What determines its timing is your certainty. Doubt slows the flow. Trust accelerates it. When you rest in faith, your energy becomes magnetic. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means trusting love to return freely, maturely, and at the right time, guided by a wisdom greater than fear. To truly live this law in your life, you must stop chasing the other person on an energetic level. Energetic chasing is not only about physical actions or messages. It happens quietly through your thoughts, your expectations, your emotional focus, and the way your mind keeps returning to them. Every time you check their social media, reread old messages, wait anxiously for a reply, or place all your attention on what they are doing or not doing, you give your power away. In those moments, your energy moves into lack, into uncertainty, into fear. Instead of standing in wholeness, you place yourself in waiting. The practice of true detachment is not about coldness or indifference. It is about calling your energy back home, back into yourself, into your life, your growth, your inner calm, and your peace. When you begin to raise your vibration without needing reassurance or validation from outside, something powerful shifts. You no longer chase, you attract. You become magnetic simply by being aligned with yourself. The universe responds to this state immediately. It recognizes you as someone who is grounded, confident, and steady in their own path. Your energy becomes radiant because it is no longer scattered. This vibration sends a clear message into the unseen world. It says, "I am complete, I am enough, I am abundant, and what truly belongs to me will come to me naturally, without force or struggle." This inner certainty is what the other soul feels when it enters its darkest night and begins to search for light. Your balance creates a quiet but powerful pull. It forms a space that naturally draws them back toward you. Once you stop sending pressure, fear, and desperation into the connection, the true resonance between your souls begins to work freely, without resistance. They do not return because of guilt or control. They return because your energy has become so clear and strong that their soul recognizes home again. This is the essence of magnetic release. Letting go in order to attract. To truly understand why the universe chose this path, you must also understand why the separation was necessary. If the bond is so deep and meaningful, why would the universe allow such a painful pause to exist at all? The truth is that this separation is not a punishment. It is part of a larger design. It is an activation of destiny itself. The pause is training. It is preparation. It exists so this love can survive in its highest and truest form. The connection between you was so intense that without growth, healing, and awareness, it would have collapsed under the weight of its own immaturity. What feels like loss is actually protection. The first hidden purpose of this separation is the maturing of the bond. When you first met, both of you were still acting from old emotional patterns. Fear, insecurity, dependency, and the need for validation were still present. The universe knew that these unconscious dynamics would distort the purity of what you shared, so it created distance to allow awareness to grow. This time apart became a kind of spiritual incubator. You were guided to learn how to love yourself without relying on their attention. Meanwhile, they were forced to face their fears without the comfort of your presence. Both of you were being reshaped, even if neither of you fully understood it at the time. The second purpose of the pause is transformation. Destiny does not want a repeat of the past. It wants a new connection, one that is more conscious, more stable, and deeply rooted in truth. The pain of separation is not meaningless. It is the cost of growth. Through absence, both of you begin to understand the true value of what you shared. The other person's soul slowly realizes that you are irreplaceable. No other connection feels the same because no other bond carries the same soul agreement. That is why the universe keeps placing reminders in their path. Moments, memories, and situations appear that make them feel the emptiness left by your absence. They sense the vacuum created when your energy withdrew. In those moments, they recognize how far they have wandered from their true path. This pause is not cruelty. It is an act of deep love from the universe itself. A higher intelligence says, "I will protect this bond until both souls are ready. I will separate you so you can heal. I will allow distance so you may return whole, aware, and capable of lasting love." The pain you feel now is temporary, but the understanding born from it will stay with you forever. When love returns, it will not be driven by need or fear. It will be rooted in awareness, clarity, and choice. Now that magnetic detachment has set the energy in motion, and the dark night of the other soul has reached its peak, something begins to shift. This is the moment when faith starts to take visible form. The universe has already promised that this separation is temporary. Now it begins to send signs that the return is approaching. These signs are not random, they are confirmations. The first and clearest sign is the rise of true inner telepathy. These are no longer faint memories or passing thoughts. They are vivid experiences that appear in quiet moments. Sudden waves of warmth, calm, joy, or tenderness wash over you without warning. These sensations are proof that communication between your souls has resumed. What you are feeling are not your own emotions alone. They are the emotions of the other person, now flowing without resistance. Their heart begins to surrender to truth, and the moment they allow themselves to feel fully, their energy reaches you directly. Pay attention to timing. If you find yourself waking at the same hour night after night, it may be the moment when their soul is most active. It may be when a memory touches them so deeply that it pulls them from sleep. These moments are not accidents. They are shared points of awareness. Another clear sign is the repetition of specific numbers. The universe often speaks through patterns, and numbers are one of its most precise languages. When you repeatedly see certain numbers like 111 for alignment, 222 for balance and union, or 777 for spiritual reward, it is not coincidence. These patterns are gentle whispers from the universe, signaling that timing is accelerating and paths are aligning. They confirm that unseen work is already producing results. A third powerful sign appears when fear collapses and absence becomes unbearable for them. The other person reaches a point where the pain of being apart becomes greater than the fear of closeness. This is the turning point destiny prepares. Running no longer feels logical. The emptiness created by your release grows too heavy to ignore. Distractions stop working. Emotional walls no longer provide safety. Restlessness, sleepless nights, and a constant sense of unrest begin to take over. When their heart finally understands that life without you is harder than the risk of loving you again, silence ends. Then comes the final phase. Sudden clarity. When they return, it will not be with hesitation or confusion. The dark night of their soul will have burned away doubt. You will sense it immediately in their voice, their eyes, and their actions. There will be clarity, commitment, and reciprocity. This reunion will not be partial. It will be conscious and intentional. The universe did not create separation to cause another fall, but to prepare both of you for a new beginning that is healed, mature, and real. The reunion is inevitable because it no longer depends on your effort. It depends on the completion of their inner healing cycle. Watch the signs. They confirm that your intuition was right all along. What you feel is not imagination. It is certainty. The universe has already moved. What belongs to you is already approaching closer than you realize. You have been guided from confusion into understanding. Now you know the truth. This is not obsession. It is a bond of destiny. The silence was not rejection. It was healing. The waiting was not punishment. It was protection. Your final task is to remain centered and continue elevating your energy. Do not freeze your life in anticipation. Live fully. Grow. Create. Love your days. When this person returns, let them meet you whole, calm, radiant, and free. Not as someone who needs them, but as someone who chooses love from strength. Destiny has already spoken. What the universe unites cannot be broken. There may be pauses and distances, but the invisible thread between two souls never snaps. In time, they will be guided back to you, not by pleading, but by the natural gravity of destiny. The space you left within them constantly reminds them where home truly is. When they return, it will not be the same love. It will be deeper, wiser, and conscious. A love that survived silence and distance. Receive them with understanding. Hold them with the strength you have built during this time. Do not allow doubt to destroy what you now know to be true. Do not give up when you are standing at the edge of transformation. Trust the process you cannot see. Trust the timing of the universe. Trust that love is finding its courage. Your path is real. The manifestation is inevitable. Speak again with peace in your heart. My soul trusts this destiny. What is yours already carries your name. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Let certainty move through you. What approaches now is clarity, motion, and fulfillment. The universe does not make mistakes.